Hi, I'm Chef Sabrina Tinsley, and today I'd like to demonstrate a recipe from my mother-in-law in honor of Mother's Day. It's called Minestra di Spinaci, which means spinach soup, and it was one of her go-to recipes, a favorite of ours for sure. It's a very simple recipe, and all you need to make this recipe is 2 bunches of spinach, and these are rough chopped. You need 1 onion chopped, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 tomato chopped, 3 cups of broth, a little bit of butter, and extra virgin olive oil. And of course, salt and pepper to taste. So I've made a simple vegetable stock for this soup, and you can make it as well at home. All you need is some of the trim that you've used for the vegetables. For example, the onion skins and the onion roots and tips, the trim from the tomato, the skins from the garlic, the trim from the spinach, because I usually trim off the tips, and any leftover vegetables that you have lingering in your refrigerator, like a little bit of celery, some broccoli trim, anything that you have that's just kind of laying around, put that in a pot, add water, bring it to a boil, and let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and you can make a nice rich stock. To start the recipe, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to our pot, along with 2 tablespoons of butter. Let the butter start melt let the butter, if I could talk today, let the butter start melting just a little bit. And then add your onions and whole cloves of garlic. The oil doesn't have to be really hot. In fact, it's better if it's not too hot. You just want to gently saute your onions and garlic. Okay, so now that it's sizzling just a little bit, I'm going to turn it down and just kind of sweat it down. Let it soften up gently. I'm going to add just maybe a tablespoon of the stock, and that'll help prevent it from caramelizing, which I don't want it to caramelize. I want the onions to be nice and tender and transparent. Now that the onions are nice and transparent, we're going to go ahead and add spinach a little bit at a time and wilt it. It looks like a lot of spinach, but it'll wilt down quite a bit. Now that the spinach is wilted down, we're going to go ahead and add our stock. Splashed a little bit. And our tomatoes. If you prefer it, you can use canned tomato sauce. Either way, it comes out great. I prefer the flavor of the fresh tomatoes. So we're going to let this come to a boil and then simmer it for about 30 minutes. While it's simmering, you can go ahead and salt and pepper it. So the soup has been simmering for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to call it. I think this is done. I can tell because the leaves are nice and tender. They're starting to turn. They're starting to lose their bright green color. The tomatoes, I can tell, are nice and tender, as well as the onions. So this soup is done, and we're going to go ahead and blend it. So we're going to add the soup to our blender. And maybe a good idea to do it in 2 different batches. When you're dealing with hot soup and blenders, you want to make sure that you're not splashing everything up and above outside of the blender, making a mess. I'm going to go ahead and blend up the garlic cloves as well, because I like that flavor in mine. But if you think it's going to be too much garlic flavor for you, you can always remove the garlic clove. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and blend, lid on, and you want to start low and just turn that on. And we're actually just going to pulse it because I like it a little bit textured. If you like it completely pureed, obviously you can, but I like a little bit of texture on it. That's the way my mother-in-law used to do it. Just going to pulse. There we go. Perfect. I like that. Okay, and round 2. All right, last round. Okay, the soup is pureed, so we're going to go ahead and dish up a portion. And the recipe is enough soup for 4 people. It's a good amount. If you have any leftovers, obviously it'll sit well in the refrigerator for a couple of days, or you can freeze it for future meal. I'm going to top it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and a little parmigiano. Both are optional. And that's how you make Minestra di Spinaci, a dish that warms the heart and soul with every bite. Enjoy.